Which team wins the AFC East?
I think it's the Patriots, and I think this is a very tough one. Not just the Patriots and the Bills, but also the Dolphins. But if you force me to pick right now, I'm going to say the Patriots. Let's keep in mind, that was a 7-win team, two plays away from being a 9-win team. Now, you got that extra game this year, right? Unless there's a tie, you're going to be either above or below 500. 9-7-ish team. A 9-8-ish team, an 8-9-ish team. That's what the Patriots were underneath it all last year. But what's happened? They brought in weapons, which Tom Brady had none of, and neither did Cam Newton. Now they have respectable weapons at receiver and tight end. What else happened? Remember how many guys off the defense they lost to begin last year? And Belichick is all about preparation and game planning and put people in the right positions. They didn't have a preseason. Their practice facility was shut down last year. And then Cam got COVID. Cam said he's the healthiest he's been in half a decade now, in 5 seasons. Cam now understands the playbook, has been there for a year. A 7-win team, 2 wins away from 9 wins last year. I'm looking at the Patriots. They could win 10, maybe 11 games this year. Who knows? I think, and your point, Molly, yesterday about how Belichick will be motivated after what Brady just did, after he missed the playoffs. I think the Patriots eke out a very tough division.
I get where you're coming from with that. I just can't ignore the progress that I saw from the Buffalo Bills last year. When I look at their offense and I look at the growth of Josh Allen and I look at them having the number 3 passing attack, the number 2 offense in points and yards, I'm thinking along those lines, and I would like to see them get more notoriety in terms of help from the wide receiver position to join Stephon Diggs. But I'm looking at Stephon Diggs last year. 127 receptions for 1,535 yards. Now, I'm looking at the bodies that the New England Patriots are going to be adding to their defense this year. And obviously, I expect them to be more formidable. And I think their running game is going to be stout, no doubt about that. It's going to be real interesting to see how Cam performs because, again, I believe in him as an athlete. I believe in him as a leader. I believe in him as a person. I do not believe in him as a passer. And that's where my reservations lie. And I think that the AFC East is better than it's been in years when you look at Miami and Buffalo. And I think that they have the tendency to they have the potential to beat up on each other. The potential, not the tendency. That would be the NFC East. The AFC East, I think they have the potential to beat up on each other for this upcoming season. I'm going to go with the Bills until I see them knocked off. I think they've got that proverbial monkey off their back in terms of perpetually falling to the New England Patriots. I think things are going to change, and I'm going to go with them until I see New England prove me wrong.
I'm with you, Max. I'm with you on the New England Patriots. And listen, I know it's the popular opinion right now for the Buffalo Bills based on what we saw Josh Allen do, what we saw Stephon Diggs do. The one thing I know, and then, too, you look at last year, the Bills won this game 38-9 against the Patriots. You know what Cam Newton was in that game? He was 5 for 10 for 34 yards passing. That's how bad the performance was from the quarterback. And then you look at earlier in the season with the New England Patriots, and Max, I love that you bring these games up. They played the Chiefs to 13 points until the third quarter. The game was 10-13 going into the fourth quarter against the Kansas City Chiefs. So Bill Belichick has not forgotten how to coach. Exactly. Bill Belichick has not forgotten how to coach. You look at all of the opt-outs. Like New England was playing with their hands tied behind their back last year, fellas. And when we look at all of the things that's transpired in this offseason, with every team and everybody that's done work to improve their roster, the argument is to be made that the New England Patriots did the most. And I get it. The question is at quarterback, trying to figure out what it's going to do. I've seen Bill Belichick throughout his career overcome that time and time again. Because people act like that the what this team has been built on for so long, and I know we get lost and enamored with what Tom Brady has done. This team has been built on defense. They've done it on that side of the ball at an elite level consistently every year. Last year with opt-outs, without your leader in Hightower, you brought in defensive people too, because we like to talk offense so much when it comes to football. You brought in guys. I think they have to get Stephon Gilmore fixed immediately. But the New England Patriots not only, I think, is going to win this division, when it's all said and done at the end of the year, we could say that this was clearly the best team in the AFC East as well while they're trying to go throughout the playoffs and win a Super Bowl.
Marcus, the only place that I'm really definitively
sir.
inclined to disagree with you is when you say the Buffalo Bills are the popular pick. I actually disagree with you. I think the New England Patriots have become the popular pick. I think when everybody saw the New England Patriots dole out $165+ million in guaranteed dollars, and they saw the number of bodies added to their squad, combined with the fact that Cam Newton is healthy and there's no COVID and he's more familiar with the offense, combined with them drafting Mac Jones, I think you got a lot, and of course their history in the AFC and the fact that they just won 7 games despite how deplorable their passing game was last year. I think it's actually popular for folks to be picking New England to win the AFC East. I don't think it's a popular pick to pick the Buffalo Bills.
You know who not enough people are picking is the Dolphins.
I hear you on the Dolphins, Max, but I'm saying I think that there's a lot of people, an awful lot of people that believe in the New England Patriots this year. They really do.
Vegas,
As they should,
Vegas
but the
has
popular
the
pick
Bills,
is the Bills.
Dolphins. Sorry to interrupt you. Vegas has Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, then Jets.
Well, we all know it's not going to be the Jets.
Yeah,
but the other
the
three,
Bills
it's
are
tough.
the popular pick. That's what you're doing. You taking the popular pick, Stephen
I didn't
A.
believe I was. I
The
didn't
Buffalo
believe I
Bills
was.
are the popular pick.
I didn't
Well, the
believe I
Bill-
was.
The New England Patriots are not. The
No,
questions
the
at
Bills are the
quarterback
popular
is the reason why
pick.
people are apprehensive.
The
Well, I'm
Bills
not
are the
paying-
popular
They are.
pick, but there are plenty of people taking the pass.
Listen, the only time I pay attention to Vegas is when I'm there. When I'm not there, I don't pay too much attention to Vegas, because one of the key elements y'all all must remember, and let me give you a lesson out here. The fellas know this. Molly, you know this, but I'm going to say it for the public's edification. The key to resisting temptation is avoiding it. So that's why I don't
Is
think about
avoiding it.
Vegas until I go
Sure
there,
is.
okay? Having said all of that, listening to the NFL
me some
aficionados,
Vegas.
all the NFL aficionados I hear talking, I usually hear New England. I don't hear a lot Buffalo.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.